Hello and welcome to another Budget Model Railways update. So I've been very busy this week on a few other projects, so I haven't actually got much built on the layout, but what I have done is a bit of engine running. So I thought what we might do is just talk through some of the locomotives that will run on the layout, because people quite often ask for our locomotive roster and what do we have. We might one day do a video on it, but I don't really want to admit how many I've got. So this is the Airfix 262 large Prairie. This is a very handsome looking locomotive, both in its design and also in all the detail on it, like the handrails and so on. You can see why they gave Hortonby such a shock when they first came out in the 1970s. So it's a nice big locomotive on what is after all a sub first radius curve, and it runs very nicely. The only problem with them, as you can tell, is they're awfully noisy. They all seem to be that way. They're a big sealed unit as well, so I've taken the body off, and it's not like some of the Lima ones where you can lubricate the motor in a few places and bring the noise down. But I still think it's a wonderful looking loco, and it's a nice big loco, so it's one of my favourites to have running around there. So here we have the Airfix or Mainline or Great Model Railways, various brandings. This is the large 460 tender loco. So this is basically the largest loco I've got that will go around here. It needs a bit of a clean in the service, which is why it's thumping around as an express freight, because it's a bit hesitant. But it will run around these 12 3/4 inch radius curves quite happily. Again, it's a great looking loco, lots of detail, but again, quite noisy. But it's important to show that even though this is a smaller layout, it's not limited to 040s and 060s. And that's why I wanted to do some of these bigger ones to start off with. Okay. So this is probably, I suppose, the largest loco that will run around here. So this is one of the old Triang Princess locos. So it's a 462 tender loco. And of course, because it's built to the old Triang lack of tolerances, I suppose, it runs around more than happily. Now this is a very poor condition one. I got this for free from Eastbourne Models and Hobbies because it was a non-runner. It's the wrong tender and everything else. It wants a lot of work. But you can pick up immaculate examples of these in some very nice maroon and green liveries for around 20 or 30 pounds. If you really wanted to, you could run quite a big loco around these layouts. I have been trying to get one on eBay, but unfortunately they're going for silly money at the moment for what are really quite basic locos. But you can see how happy that is running around this layout. Nice big loco. And so if you'd built yourself a little first radius layout or smaller like this, that gives you the opportunity of still running some pretty big mainline locos. I have got a plan to get this one all repaired and painted up, and then it's going to look quite something, but it's a bit of a long-term plan. But it's a rather good little runner, given that it's, I don't know, 40 or 50 years old or more now. I'm quite happy with that. I think that looks great running around there. It looks very good actually with the nice coaches. So one day that'll be a big express train. So we now come then to a couple of my favourite locos, which are these Lima 262s. Now, this one does want a little bit of a clean, but this was one of the first locos we ever bought when we got into model railways. It's got extra pickups somebody's fitted on the trailing bogies, and it's a really nice running loco. It'll run relatively slowly. It's relatively quiet. As I say, it needs a little bit of a clean, but these are my favourite looking steam locos, the small Prairies. I say this one, you know, it runs quite nicely. I've got a green one, which if I can find in a minute, we'll show, but it was on one of the earlier videos. But that's a nice loco, and you can get that one down to a slow speed, which you can't do as easily with some of the older Airfix ones I was just showing. And then it's a smooth, quiet loco. So here we go then. This is the second one of the Lima 262s. This is the very smart Great Western one. And these are the kind of locos that I still feel if they were produced now, whilst they certainly wouldn't keep the high-end rivet counting enthusiast happy. I think the vast majority of us would be quite happy to pay £30, £35 for that, running around the layout. I mean, that's the old pancake motor. And if you clean everything up and give them a bit of a lube, there really isn't anything wrong with them. I know people slag them off and all this, that and the other, but that's running quite happily. It's smooth, it's relatively quiet, it runs over the points nicely, and it's a great looking Loco. I think I paid about £15 for that. I've seen people paying as much as 35 or 40, which personally I wouldn't, but I do get that if you could get one in a nice condition, that is an awful lot cheaper than what a similar new Loco is going to cost you now. I do have an immaculate Hornby large Prairie that I got quite cheap, but that actually won't run round these curves. But I don't mind, because I really rather like my small Prairies. So this is something a little bit special to me. This is a Lima 94X 060. Had one a few years ago and it was awful, but I've just picked this one up recently for £10 boxed on eBay, including postage. I've seen people paying as much as 35 for them. But this, I think, is a lovely little Loco. It's very smooth and quiet. I took the body off, drop a 3-in-1 oil on the motor bearings and various bits and pieces. Let's not start that debate. We've done that one lots. Little drop of 3-in-1 on the end of a toothpick is fine on these Locos. And it is just such a smooth and quiet running Loco, even by modern standards. So I'm a little bit pleased with that. And I think they're very smart looking Locos. But then people know that I do rather like my BR Black. I like BR Black lined if I can get it. But I'm not bothered. I have to say I've got a green one of these, which is also awful. So I think you do have to get lucky with them. And I certainly wouldn't pay a lot of money for one unless I was really confident that I could get it working smoothly. But when they're good like that one, they're really good. I would point out we may not get time today, but I do have a big fleet of diesels that will go around here as well. And people know that I'm quite a big diesel fan. So there will be, if we don't get time today, we will do a diesel Locos running as well. To show you some of the diesels. Now this Loco's got a little bit of a history. I got this quite a few years ago from Classic Rail in Ticehurst for the sum total of £10. It's an older 040, so it shouldn't run well because it's supposed to be only the new ones. And this actually came from the Battle Zone set, which is probably why it was cheap. However, ever since the day I've had it, it's been one of my best runners. It doesn't hesitate on points. It runs beautifully right down to a slow speed. It'll pull anything. So this week I decided to get the paint can out and I've ponced it up a little bit. I've given it a bronze funnel cap and I've painted the handrails and painted the filler tanks and all that and just made it look a little bit smarter as a little thank you really to being such a great Loco. I've used it a great deal over the years as a test Loco because where I've done various layouts, I know that if this one works on the layout, then I'm away. And this is when the Hornby 040s are really good. You do have to chop and change a bit, but I just buy and sell them. I don't pay too much for them. And when I get a good one like this one, then I keep it. And that is very much one of the best, given that this isn't one of the saddle tanks, which everybody knows good, or one of the new Chinese ones. But it's just a wonderful little runner. Look, we've got it more or less crawling along there. When you think that's what the Bagnall and everything does now, that's a really nice little Loco. So that brings us really to what is one of the best Locos in my fleet, regardless of the fact that it's one of the small basic ones. I think this was the 2010 collector's model for the Hornby Collectors Club. I paid about £12 for that, including postage and packing. Again, you will see people paying a bit more, but these are by far the best of the Hornby 040s. They're much heavier for some reason. They seem to have a different chassis. They are beautifully smooth and quiet Locos. They don't hesitate on the points. They'll run down to a crawl. They'll pull quite a few coaches. I would definitely look out for one of these. If you want a little extra Loco, take a little look. I know they can vary. I know you can get Friday night ones of these, but the ones I've seen so far are particularly good. And of course, this is pulling my favourite two little Triang coaches that you saw from the other video, which I bought basically boxed. They're in as new condition. Even the funny old open bearing wheels are running smoothly, and the coaches just look right for this layout. In the background there you can see our BMR rail bus painted up as an early BR green, which I'm looking forward to. We'll try and get that ready for next week's video. We're running out of time today, so we'll do diesels next week. So those that like me are a big diesel fan, and I've got a lot. I've got 24s, 73s, Hymex, 33s, Bagnalls, 06s, all sorts of things that will run around this. So we'll have a bit of a diesel fest next week. But I have to say that this layout has reawakened my interest in my steam locos. They just look wonderful going around it. And this is what this layout was built for. I just wanted somewhere to sit and run some trains round. I'm a sad individual. I just like watching trains go round. I find it very therapeutic. And to be able to see them go through a little bit of scenery with some little scenes going on and so on, I can do this of an evening and I'm quite happy. Very therapeutic model railways, I think. I am looking forward to getting my big loft one done, but this one at the moment is keeping me interested. So we'll just run this one round and then I'm going to just run another version of this one to show you. So I'm only going to run this one round once because you've just seen the black one, but this is one of the other liveries that they did in that local, the Caledonian Railway one. I don't care that it's not Scotland, this layout. Again, I bought this from Classic Rail, I think again for about £12. I just think that this particular version, with all that detail and livery, in such a good little loco, I think there's a lot of people, you know, really play these locos down, but they're really wonderful little things to have. Smart looking loco and a great little runner. Okay. So, something a little bit different here. This is one of the steam tramway locomotives that are very popular. And this is our Budget Model Railway 3D body on a little Hornby 040 chassis. We haven't run this before. The chassis needs a bit of running, so just excuse the judderiness. We haven't serviced this yet, but I thought people might like to see it. This is our best-selling model. How many have we sold?
A lot.
About 30 or 40, I think. No,
70.
Oh, it's 70. Lot of detail on there, and that's a good, cheap little different loco for people that want a tramway. We're quite pleased with that one. And there we go. We'll just stop it there, I think. Excellent. So that's been a little look. That's not all the steam locos. I've got a couple more 060s that will go round. I've got a rather nice Hornby, I think it's a J64 saddle tank. And obviously I've got a lot more 040s. But it gives you an idea. So what we'll do next week is we'll do the diesels. So thank you very much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed having a look at some of the steam locos on our layout. And next week we'll do a diesel day, which I think will be quite popular. I'm having a lot of fun with this layout. I love the scenery we've done. There's not a lot of work now to read it, just a bit of detail here and there. So that's why I'm getting the fun of running the locos. Because people have said in the past, we tend to do lots of building and very little running. So it's been quite nice to run some locos. So thanks for sharing it with us today. And we look forward to seeing you all again next week. Hi, thanks for watching the video and for the nice comments. Click on the left for a previous video in this series. Click on the right for another video you might enjoy. And please don't forget to click to subscribe, like, comment, etc. Thanks again.